Oh, and the next thing I want to talk about is, when we're talking about the Imperial Masters, except Imperial Master number 13, all the Imperial Master from number 1 to 12, they all experienced the failure in their life. They failed all the business they have done it before. They filed for a personal bankruptcy. So we hear all those stories how failed in their life, and actually was the only hope for them to really live a good life. But nowadays, you will see a lot of people with a great professions are getting involved in anatomy because they understand how potential this business is and how big this company can be. And with this company, it is for sure they will be able to create passive income if crazy. And we have seen several doctors. I'm sure there will be many doctors getting involved in anatomy, but we saw several doctors on the stage of Success Academy or one day seminar to share why they're doing that to me or how much they love it, love with Himohim and how they are sharing Himohim to their patients. And besides Himohim, many other products they are in love with. And recently, not recently, a couple of months ago, if you have watched the CEO Success Academy happened in Korea, you probably spot this stuff that I have put up a picture here. Actually, I didn't saw it. I didn't see him on the TV shows, but he's according to his personal introduction, he said he also appeared on the TV, so he's pretty popular in Korea. But doctor like him, he ended up in anatomy, and as you can see from the title, he's a Sharon Rose master. So he's just not a consumer who are in love with acting product, but he's also a business person. He's also busy sharing activity to all the people he knows. So I think there's a lot to learn from his story. So I want to take a moment here to watch his lecture because I'm sure many of you who missed the Success Academy happened a couple of months ago. So let's watch his story, why he joined, and what made him go crazy with Atomy. And let's talk about some of the tips or some of the things that we have heard from his lectures.
Hello. I am a new Atomy Sharon Rosemaster E. McGuine who appeared on several TV shows such as You Quiz on the Block and also Master in the House. I had to close my office for 2 days to come to this lecture. Yesterday, I had the rehearsal and had another broadcast to appear in. And today, I had this Success Academy to come to. When I say I'm in the Atomy business, there are many people who look at me like, huh? Why is a high-paying doctor in the Atomy business? Doctors are paid for their labor too. The minute I step out of my doctor's office, the meter stops, and when I step in, the meter starts running again. It's payment for my labor. And it's not easy for surgeons like me who can't go into surgery once we're over 75. But I'm planning on living until I'm 158. So I needed an income system to support me through this long time after retirement. I was first introduced to Atomy through the black bean soy milk. Honestly speaking, doctors are a hungry profession. Not because we don't have the money, but because we don't have time to eat. So a friend of mine sent me soybean milk and protein shakes. I didn't know that I was supposed to mix the protein shakes with the soybean milk, so I just mixed water in the shakes and sipped the soybean milk separately. I tasted the original taste of the soybean milk. It tasted so much better than the other brand that I had always liked. So I turned over the label, and it was an Atomy product. Atomy. What's the first impression? A pyramid scheme. So my first thought was, what happened to her? She used to be someone who could live without laws. She must have been tricked by someone into joining this pyramid scheme, and I thought I should get her out of it. But that person wasn't the type that would stop because someone tells her to stop. She was the type that would only agree if I showed her the evidence to back my opinion up. So I asked her to give me all the material she had on Atomy, and I looked up dissertations, internet info, and videos too. Surprisingly, I couldn't find any issues with Atomy, and realized that it was the income system that I had been dreaming about. So I gave her another call, and I told her that I would like to join. But she wouldn't for the life of me let me join, so I said I'll just find a way on my own. I called a number, but I didn't know what numbers to press. I asked her why she wouldn't help me join, and she said that I would probably end up comparing incomes and quit, saying this isn't making me that much money. That's even worse than not starting in the first place. So that was her reason. But I didn't give up, and I kept pestering her. Later on, she quizzed me about how much I knew about Atomy. It was her way of trying to get me to quit bothering her. She asked me about 5 questions on Atomy, and I said I studied, right? So I answered them correctly, without hesitation. Was it a month or so? I just barely got past her tests and was able to join. Did any of you join Atomy after passing more rigorous steps than me? Raise your hands if you did. No one. November 17th, 2021 is the historic date that I finally joined Atomy. Atomy was the business that I yearned for all of these years. Being cooped up in a clinic day after day. In the center of my program monitor at my clinic, I put in a small photo of the seasonal ceremony. It's stuffy being cooped up in a closed area without any sunlight. Physiologically, I feel like I'm in a jail cell. So, just in case my mind becomes ill, I'll put a picture in the center. It's like a window to my mind. Right now, it's a photo of a leafy countryside. After so many years of just imagining about walking in the sun, traveling long distances to meet sponsors, and going to support partners, the weekend felt like traveling to me. It was so much fun. After so many years of listening to ill patients, being outside was pure happiness for me. We eat eel, right? Why? To rejuvenate and increase stamina. But not only is it good for health, it's also very tasty. What happens when I'm roaming about? I can't make money as a doctor when I'm out of the office. But in this business, I can make money while I play. And it's so much fun. I listen to many successful people lecture in the Atomy business. Most doctors like to read, right? That means we like to study too. I studied in depth about Atomy too. The best part of it was the video lectures. I think I watched 200 to 300 lectures given by the chairman to find some kind of fault with Atomy. Then I heard that our Choice Song E sponsor became successful after 10 years. I went to medical school, studied basic and clinical sciences to become a doctor. Then I went through my internship and residency to become a surgical specialist. I became a colorectal specialist, and I finally opened my practice after 16 years of studying and obtaining my master's and doctorate degrees in medicine. Yes, so the fact that I opened my own clinic didn't mean that I was successful, but I thought if I had joined the Atomy business and not studied to be a doctor in the first place, I could have become successful earlier in life. You're all luckier than I am, because I regretted, 16 years later, that I didn't choose Atomy sooner. Am I right? Do you agree? If I make an income system through Atomy in the next 10 years or even longer, I'll be able to prepare for life after retirement as an Atomy partner, not as a doctor, correct? I worked so hard to become a doctor, but I am positive that Atomy is the one that will take care of my later years. The field that I was most interested in as I started the Atomy business was the health and functional foods, probably because I'm a doctor. I studied over 30 different products, made a list. I looked into the Atomy channel. I read the labels on the back, even the tiny print on the cartons, and watched videos of the doctors who explained the products online. They were all excellent products. Before, patients who came to see me would ask, "What do you think about health functional foods?" I used to say, "There's no need to take them, just make sure you eat well. They're worthless." "Why would you take lactic acid? Kimchi's enough." That's all part of the marketing scheme. You don't need that. That's what I used to tell my patients. But as I looked over all the material on lactic acid, I realized they were very useful. Lactic acid helps absorb nutrients, our bowel movements, and stay in the small and large intestines to work for our bodies. Huh? Why don't I start taking them? So I did, and I felt great. It was so great that I recommended them to some of my colleagues. Do you think they would have listened to me? Of course not. They thought Atomy was a pyramid scheme. They looked it all up online. So I told them to forget about all that and just try it. Then we talked for 1 to 2 hours. Not a single person went to the restroom. It had a direct effect. The next product I tried was the Apple Pen, and since I sit in the office for a long time, I have a pot belly. There's a type of potbelly that's made when the mesentery that holds the intestines gets loose. I have a friend who's really skinny, but he still had a potbelly underneath his belly button. So belts wouldn't go around him in a straight line, but a U-curved line. And then there are people who have a lot of subcutaneous fat. And they look like they have thick cutting boards around their waists. People who have bellies for sitting for long periods of time and don't have time to exercise have saggy fat. They might not have pot bellies, but it's saggy. So we zip our pants up real tight to look slim. Once we unzip, it all sags down. So for a few months, I took the Apple Pen-On product in the mornings and evenings and lost the fat in my waist. You can see my belt now. You really can. You can. Yeah, there's a figure that tends to shoot up when we feel tired. It's in our blood. It's the glutamic pyruvic transaminase, known as GPT. You've seen it in your checkups, right? GOT, GPT, hemoglobin, and so on. The GPT is an enzyme made when the hepatocyte is destroyed. So if the GPT is high, it means either your hepatocytes aren't working or they're damaged for some reason. I was feeling exceptionally tired this spring, so I got my blood checked, and this figure was way up. I was really surprised. The Atomy rhodiola milk thistle. It's not named after a guy named Hong Kyung-chun. The silimarin ingredient lowers the GPT in our bodies, and one tablet of our rhodiola milk thistle contains 65 milliliters of silimarin. 2 tablets of 65 milliliters, 2 times 6 is 12, 2 times 5 is 10, so 130 milliliters. This 130 milliliters is pretty significant. Patients also come to me and ask, "Doctor, what kind of vitamin should I take?" What would I have said before? They didn't need any of that, but now I'm eager to share. It just slips off my tongue. Buy and try the Atomy Vital Color Multivitamin. It's always on the tip of my tongue. But I can't say that in my office. So I tell them, there are 13 different types of vitamins. Vitamin A, B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 12. C, D, E, and K. How many is that? 13. If there was a promotion, I'd give them samples. Just because you take vitamins, it doesn't mean it will be effective. If vitamins are enzymes, minerals work as the coenzymes. You need coenzymes for the vitamins to have an effect. So you need to take minerals with the vitamins, but it's a lot of work taking 23 different vitamins and minerals as well. In our Atomy Vital Color Multivitamin, there are 13 different vitamins and 10 minerals. That's also significant, right? Our product has 10 different minerals. Since I studied about all of these wonderful products, I would have been filled with confidence, right? And I thought becoming an Imperial Master would be a piece of cake. I thought I'd be one in no time. What happens when a track and field athlete thinks a marathon is nothing? They could die of a heart attack. Slow and Steady wins a race, but I sprinted from the start. I called up everyone I knew, thinking I'd get partners real soon, create vineries, and get a ton of people, and get high PVs. I called everyone that owed me something, or friends that wouldn't refuse. But the second time I called them, no one answered. They wouldn't even come out to have a meal with me. I lost many of my friends this way. Many. So I realized the Atomy business shouldn't be run like this. It's not about the numbers. I was determined to start with baby steps. So I took off my white coat and I started all over again. I told myself I wasn't just a doctor, I was a business owner whose business just went bust. I know why you're all laughing. But yes, I thought I was a person with bad credit and started again. In 2023, I was determined to be crazy about Atomy and give wake-up calls to all of the partners who had been dozing off. To plug into the Atomy system, I started to use the monthly leave that most people take for my clinic. Yeah. Once a month, I closed my clinic, even though it cost me thousands of dollars, and I started to attend the Success Academies with my partners as the stepping stone to success. So starting with March 17th, my partners and I rent a bus every month to attend the Success Academy. And one thing I learned from these seminars is that it's not about recruiting new members, but making every member count. So I thought I should really connect and communicate the Atomy products to my existing partners. I took a different route and decided I should make them want to use the Atomy products by getting prettier and healthier and seeing the changes for themselves. No matter how many times you tell someone to try something new, if you don't truly believe it, it won't be effective. So I made a study group that met every Tuesday, and I explained our Atomy products in an easy-to-understand way, based on my medical knowledge, while our sponsor communicates her experience with cosmetics. It naturally developed into a package lecture where you can look healthier and prettier. The number of new members isn't what counts. You should care about how many new members really opened up and understood Atomy with their hearts. That's the only way to get solid partners that are sincere about using, eating, and applying our products. Even if it's just one partner. Some people come to our lectures saying they tried Hemo-Him or the Triple Up protein, and it didn't do anything for them. Our bodies have these batteries, just like the ones in your cell phone. Body cells have batteries too. It's called the ATP, and when the battery lacks oxygen or vitamins, it decreases to 1/15 of its full state. It will bring you down. If you get out of breath while running, it means that the muscles are lacking oxygen and can't create ATP. In that state, no matter how much food you eat and how many great vitamins you take, you don't have energy and feel low. So what do you do to recharge the ATP cell battery? What do? Plug it into a charger? You have to take vitamins. The ATP cell batteries have to be charged up to 15 times for the immune function to get going. To clear up a foggy vision, you have to take the appropriate vitamins. What happens if you keep giving fertilizer to a parched field? It doesn't help the rice crop, does it? Without water, it doesn't do a thing. Just like this, our body must have a good foundation, and that is water. Let me tell you the steps of nutrition, how you should take your health functional foods. You must start with the deep sea water of Atomy, the Vital Color multivitamin. You have to start with that on the very bottom. Then the other vitamins and calorie-cutting products come second. For what? For the immune boosters and other health functional products in the third step. That's how you can properly deliver the effects to your body. Nutrition is all about the intake of foods that are related to the body, calories, and functions, then delivering that to our cells. And what do we call them? Nutrients. This is the correct composition for a good nutritional system. No matter how great the health functional product is, depending on the other products it's taken with, the effects can vary greatly. That's why the curation of health functional products of Atomy is important. Atomy is one product per partner. There's no need to think too deeply about it. Just buy it and take it as written. Then you'll get healthier by the day. I'm a part-timer. I began the Atomy business by utilizing the bits and pieces I had left from my fixed clinic hours. And I think that using your time wisely is very important for running a business. So I use my lunch hours and time after the clinic is closed to introduce the business to new partners. I bought this whiteboard at my office. I leave things on the whiteboard for my patients to see. Information on the different levels of the patients, this is normal and this is a metabolic syndrome, and so on. For patients that need to be treated, I use medicine But do I just leave the people who are on the boundaries until they become metabolic syndrome patients, then treat them? No way. How do I help them stay healthy? With health functional products. What's the use of living until 100 if you're stuck lying on a bed? You have to be healthy. After starting the Atomy business, I'm happier than ever, enjoying working and walking on Tuesday with our partners. What do I mean by walking on Tuesday? Walking and running after our Tuesday seminars. Our chairman is participating in the project of meeting 100 people, and I think that it could be a good way of exercising. I am hooked on Atomy these days. I'm so hooked that sometimes I think to myself, did I become a doctor to sell Atomy's health functional products? Atomy is now a companion of mine. That's why I think and rejoice with Atomy by my side. I am enjoying my life along with our partners, and I will work hard for the health of my loving family, my partners, and everyone on Earth. I hope you all stay healthy and happy as you run your businesses. Thank you.